Hey everybody, welcome back for another video. My name is Tanya for those of you that are new here, and I am a watercolor and acrylic artist. So I've been taking healing art classes lately, little workshops, and I'm having a really good time learning all sorts of things about the healing arts. But one thing that I have done since I was a little girl is paint eyes. I had painted eyes forever. I remember even in school just painting eyes, doodling as the teacher was talking. But I haven't done it in a long time. So I decided to bring it back. So I'm going to show you a little bit of what I've done lately. So it's kind of like a mandala, but not really. It's kind of a very simple, relaxed mandala. It's not one of those technical ones that you see sometimes. But this one here, I just wanted to focus on the eye because I haven't, like I said, I haven't painted them in a really long time. So I wanted to focus on the eye, and then I just wanted to do almost like a starburst coming out with all the watercolors. So I'm going to show you a few that I have made in the last couple days. This one here started out with, started out with the eye, but then I wanted to bring in almost like these little trees for her eyelashes. It was really kind of cool. And then I've got another one here. This one's a little bit more vibrant, the oranges and the reds. And then this one here, more in the purples. So I've got a whole bunch of different ones, and I just wanted to show you how I kind of start creating these. All right, so I've got my watercolor paper. I've got my watercolors. You can use any brand you want. I've got the Koi brand today. Normally I have my Winsor Newton, but today I'm using Koi. I've got my Grumbacher paintbrushes, and then I've got my water, my paper towel, and a pencil. All right, so what we're gonna do is, where is my wash brush? Here it is. I've got this nice big brush here. So first what we're gonna do is we're gonna get our paper wet. Normally I would, you know what, I probably will go ahead and tape off my sides. Normally I go ahead and tape off the whole thing, but I'm gonna be moving this around. So I'm just gonna tape the sides a little bit because we are getting the whole page wet, so the paper might start to buckle on you. So if you just want to hold it down a little bit, just put a little tape in the corners. All right, so I have a stencil here of all sorts of little circles, and I think I'm going to kind of try and place this one here. I think I'm going to use that one. I'm going to eyeball it kind of in the middle of the paper. I mean, if you want to get really technical, you can go ahead and measure your paper, but I'm just going to eyeball it, just so I know that that's where the center is going to be. All right, and then I'm going to start by dipping in my large brush. This is what, 2 inches? I think this is about a 2-inch, maybe, oh, it doesn't even, oh, 1.5 inches. This is an 1.5 inch brush. Dip it in my water, and I'm just going to go ahead and get my paper nice and wet. And then I'm going to pick up my 12 Grumbacher brush and my paints. Go get them nice and wet, and I'm just going to start streaking from the inside out, and I'm just going to do almost like these like sunbursts or starbursts going around my page. Now I did my circle pretty dark so you could see it. Go ahead and lighten yours up, because you will still see that pencil through. But we're gonna be putting so much detail in here, I'm not too worried about it. But for you, go ahead and lighten it up. I just wanted you to see it. So I'm gonna be working my way all the way around. So the inside out. And I'm not really caring if they're overlapping or not. Just go with the flow, whatever feels best for you. If you feel like it needs a little bit more in a certain area, then do it. You could even bring the outside in if you want to. If you feel like your edges are just a little too white, start bringing the outside in like this. Just make sure you're going in the same direction. You can start bringing in other colors. Lately I'm really into my pinks and my oranges together, so I'm going to be bringing in a little bit of my orange. You bring in any color you want. That's why I'm not being specific with the names I'm using, because this is about how you feel, what you think looks good, what color you're feeling today. Okay, so it's pretty dry. It's still damp on the edges, which is totally fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a different color on the border right now. So let's see, I'm gonna pick up, I think I'm feeling more of like a blue today. So I'm gonna pick up this, I don't even know what it's called, but it's kind of like an ultramarine blue. I'm gonna add it on the sides. And I'm just gonna take water and let it bleed to the middle. Now, if you don't want to do this part, you don't have to. I just think it's kind of neat giving it a little bit of a border. Whether you're going to frame this or whatever. Kind of gives it this a little bit more of like a dark purple edge. Just depends on what color you're using. Again, this is all about what you're feeling, whatever color you're feeling today. I'm just going to round out my edges a little bit, my corners, I should say. There. All right. If you feel like you want to drop in a different color, I'm going to drop in a little bit more of this aqua-y color. Let it do its thing. Okay, pretty dry. Still a little damp on the sides, but that's okay. All right, so I'm going to try and lighten up my pencil mark here. I don't think it's going to lighten up too much because once you put paint over pencil, it doesn't erase very well. I lightened it up a little bit. All right. Like I said, for you, I hope you lightened it up already before you laid down your paint. All right. I don't want to ruin the paper, so I am not going to do that too much. All right, let me take a brush. Just wipe away those eraser shavings. All right, and we're gonna start with our eye. So normally what I do is I'll take my pencil and I will just draw 2 little dots on the edge of the circle here because I know I don't want my eye to go further than that. And as best as you can, if you wanna look up some images of eyes, go for it. I've been doing this so long that I just, I don't even look at images anymore. I just go for it. So it's kind of like a little, I don't know, like a marquee type shape here. So you're more pointy in the edges. Now it depends on which way your eye is looking. I should say not looking, but which way where the nose would be, because both corners are different. So I'm going to have the eye this way. So like if it was a face, my nose would be right here. So I'm going to just round this out a little bit here. Now you could have done yours totally opposite and have this be the middle, or yeah, the middle part where the nose would be over here. And we're not actually painting the whole face, but you just kind of want to figure out which way your eye is going to be. And I'm going to draw in the middle part here. I believe this is called the iris. And then I'm going to draw in the pupil as best as you can. If you want to use stencils, go for it. I just freehand everything. You could even just kind of lightly pencil in where you think your eyelid is going to be. All right, and that's about all I do with the pencil. The rest is paint. So I'm going to take my smallest little brush. This is a 000 Grumbacher. Just grab the smallest brush you have, dip it in some black paint or whatever color you want. I usually use black. At this point, since I'm not really going to be painting well, I might be re-wetting, but we'll see. I'm going to be taking my tape off because when I paint my eye, like I said before, I really move my page around a lot. It's hard for me to get precision on my eyes when my arm is not able to do what it wants to do here. All right. So a small brush and some black or whatever color you want. Outline it as best as you can. I outline the whole thing and the pupil. Now is the time, if you think your pupil needs to be bigger or smaller, now is the time to do it. I'm going to leave a reflection in my eye, so I'm going to do a smaller little circle like that. You can leave as many reflections as you want. I might bring in my Posca marker later and just do a little bit of detail with some white in the center of the eye. But leave whatever white space you want right now. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and just make this a little bit more of a curve. All right. You can darken up, thicken up some of your lines if you feel it needs it. And now start thinking about the color you want your eye. I'm going to pick up, I think this is my size 5, and I think I want to do, let's see, I did a brown eye, I did a green eye, I did a purplish blue eye, and I did a red eye. That one's really cool. So it just kind of depends on what you want to pop out. Kind of thinking the purplish blue eye again. All right, so I'm going to pick up that blue color that I had done. It's actually the color that I did on my edges here. I'm going to go pick it up. I start from the outside of the circle of the eye first. All right, get that nice and saturated. Clean off your brush and drag it in. So it's almost like that little starburst that you did on the outside here is dragged into the eye. You can now go ahead and add some other colors if you want. I'm going to go ahead and add this different blue here. Let's see what that looks like. Oh no, it's actually kind of the same blue. All right, so let's go ahead. Ooh, you know what I'm going to do? Add white. Make it a lighter blue. And just drop it in. And that'll loosen up the color a little bit, and it'll make all these different tints of the blue. Look how pretty that is. If you feel like you want to bring it in a little bit more, I'm going to move to my smaller brush and drag it in a little bit, just to cover up a little bit of that white space. Oop, and I'm picking up a little bit of my black. That's okay. Just be careful when you go to the center, because if it's still wet, or even if it's not wet, it may pick up some of that black. Pretty. Take any kind of reddish color you want, and we're gonna put the little red part of the eye right there. If you want to bring in a little bit of the red, so it's like the bottom of the eyelid. So see how I'm turning my page? It's really hard to do this taped down. You got all these different little angles. All right, start thinking about what color you want on the outside of the eye. So this one here I did more of a red. This one I did a purple and with some orange. This one I did purple with pink. And this one I did different shades of purple. So I think I'm gonna go, I want something to pop. Right now, like that dark pink is really speaking to me. I think I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna take my reddish pink. Now, if your eye is still wet, which mine is extremely wet in there, try not to bump up against it, because then they will start to bleed together. Or you could just wait till it dries. And then you can always close it up a little bit later. All right. I'm going to take some water, and I'm just going on the edge of that eyelid. I want to bleed that up a little bit, like that. See how it's starting to bleed up a little bit? And then you can also bring it down. Again, be careful of your edge down here because your eye is still wet. That's really pretty. Okay, it's pretty dry. And I'm gonna go ahead and add some white highlights. Actually, another thing that I do pull in, and I didn't say this before, is I bring in like a white acrylic paint. It doesn't even matter what brand it is. Just make sure it's a white acrylic paint. And I'm gonna go ahead and just put a little bit on my palette here. And with an acrylic brush, this is just a generic acrylic brush. Don't use your watercolor brushes for this. Go ahead and get a little white on there. And I'm going to bring in a little white. And you could even do this with your Posca marker if you want to. And if you go over something, don't worry about it. You can always paint over it later. Like the edge of the black here. Or just move to a smaller brush, which I may do for my corners. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So I've got a smaller acrylic brush, and I'm just gonna go ahead and use that. All right. And you may have to do a couple layers. And that's all right, just let it dry, do its thing. I also want to add a little bit more white in my eyes, so I'm going to move to my watercolor brush. I'm going to bring in a little, you could also do this with your white acrylic if you want to, but I'm just going to use my watercolor, my white watercolor. I know they say in the watercolor world that white watercolor is a no-no. You should use the white of the paper, but guess what? I don't. I love using my white paint. It just makes everything look a little bit more mystical, a little bit more fuzzy, a little bit more, I don't know, blended together. All right, so I am going to let that dry, and in the meantime, I'm going to pick up my Posca marker. And any size you want. I've got a 1 here, it's white. So I'm just going to go over the white, the little highlight I left in the middle of my eye there. I'm going to give it another couple little highlights right there. And then when my eye dries again, I might add a couple little highlights in there as well. I'm not sure yet. All right, I am going to go ahead and close up. Remember we left that white space there because they were bumping up against each other. I'm going to go ahead and just close it up right now with my red. There. Perfect. All right, so start thinking about how you want, if you want eyelashes or just like teardrops or swirls or whatever. Right now I'm feeling kind of more of an orange bottom eyelashes. So I'm gonna move to my size 5 again. I'm gonna pick up my orange. You can round your eyelashes like a normal eye, you know, like a real human eye, or you can make it more decorative how I'm doing it, and I'm just going straight across. This is just decorative. This is what I'm feeling right now. I don't want to make a very realistic eye. I want it to be very stylized. Look how pretty that is. I think I want to do something similar to that, but I'm going to use red this time. So what I do is you could start at the corner and work your way around, or I know the longest one is going to be right in the middle here, and then they go down from there. So I'll start in the middle and work my way down. And just let those close up. Really nice. Look how nice that is. So that's why I did the middle one first, and then I just worked my way down. And again, just kind of go with the sunburst angle. Pretty. Ooh, that's beautiful. Loving that. All right, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take a little bit of my black, really watered down, and I'm gonna come in with just a little bit of a shadow right under the eye here like this. It's good to put some shadows in your eyes, otherwise it just looks a little funny. And you can always close that up again later. Or open it up again with the black, I should say. All right, switch brushes. And it's a little too dark on my white, so I'm gonna just take a clean brush and wipe that away. Clean brush, wipe that away. There. Really pretty. I think I want to bring in my Posca marker again, my little white one, and I'm going to give these a highlight on one side. Now, he's still really wet, so I'm not going to go over the middle one. I'm going to skip the middle red eyelash because it's still really, really wet. I'm going to let that dry a little bit. He was the first one I did. It probably had the most water on it. I think I'm going to do the same thing with the orange. Really pretty. I think I want some white dots on the outsides of them. So what I do for little dots is I take the bottom of my paintbrush and I get some white acrylic paint, and you could just make some little dots. You could do this with a Posca marker. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and keep making designs. Okay, so I went ahead and I finished the eye. I decided not to put as much detail in the background, all the little polka dots and stuff. I just kind of like this a little bit more simple, a little bit more muted with the colors just blending. I added a little bit of yellow down here and some orbs, added a little bit more of white starbursts up on top, a little bit more detail around the eye, but I think I'm just gonna leave it like this. I kind of like it a little bit more simple. So please leave a comment in the comment section and let me know if you like these type of videos. I'm really enjoying making these more healing art type of videos. They're a little bit different for me. So just let me know what you think, and don't forget to subscribe if you want more videos like this one. Have a great day. Bye.